What do you say, everybody? And roll tide. We got a lot to get into today. I know I say that every show, but Nick Saban addresses the rumors that Greg McElroy started. We're going to talk about him not wanting to get back into coaching. But does that really mean he doesn't want to get back into coaching? We're going to talk about that. President Trump and the political people are trying to make it to where they take the pay for play out of college sports. And Greg Burns happy about that at Alabama. Maybe they can get there and save the day. Tank Jones ready to make his decision. The 5-star out of St. Paul's, I think a must get for Alabama. And Cam Newton talking about Jalen Hurts. We'll get into that. And then one of the all-time great wrestlers passed away in Hulk Hogan. And Shank and I both love wrestling. So we're going to get into all that on our show. We got a lot for you guys. Let's hit the open and get to it. Brought to you by Pearl River Resort and our D community site as well. This is the show, Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, the Augusta you can play. And it's getting to that time where you want to get out on the course. They got 2 amazing golf courses over there, the Azaleas, the Oaks. We'll talk more about Pearl River as we roll on through the show. There's so many good topics. I mean, like, what do you start with? And I guess you start with this one right here because this is an Alabama show. You played for Nick Saban. You won championships with Nick Saban. Greg McElroy through the Paul Feinbaum. I heard that, maybe. And then I haven't read a story where they were saying that, I don't even know if it was real or not, that Florida State was the team school that was like, hey, we got a spot for Nick Saban down here. And it leads right into Alabama playing Florida State to start the season. Coach Saban came in and addressed these rumors, and he's like, look, I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing right now. I'm still around the game. Basically, he dismissed those rumors. Your thoughts?
Hey man, the media loves to stir up trouble, dog. We're at that critical point of the summertime where everybody's just absolutely bored without football. News is getting slow, and so you got to stir the pot a little bit. But God, everybody was up in arms about Saban possibly making a comeback, right? And he's just like, even if he were to make a comeback, where does he go? Does he come back to Bama? Do we get rid of DeBoer? Like, is that a thing? Do you do that to him? That's neither here nor there. But I think it's crazy, man. Because at the end of the day, I ain't heard anything from Miss Terry. Ain't nobody asked Miss Terry nothing.
Yeah, right.
Everybody talking about Nick. When the truth of the matter is, if Miss Terry don't approve, it ain't happening. And so until I hear from the boss lady, man, I ain't worried about none of that. But hey, man, Nick's enjoying retirement. He gave a lot to the game for a real long time, man. He changed a lot of people's lives, mine included. I'm one of those guys. I'll never have a bad word to say about Nick, man. Um, and I think he should continue to enjoy his retirement, man. I don't, he shouldn't have to compete in today's college football. I feel like he was like the last cut of that old era, you know what I'm saying? So since he's walked away from it, I think he's good, retired, and he's just, God, man. If I don't hear it from Miss Terry, I wouldn't believe it anyway.
Yeah,
And
right.
so,
Calls the shots, and you know that. I
yeah,
think
absolutely.
I really think that one of 2 things happened. Either Greg spoke without thinking, or he was just in the middle of a conversation and it came out and he didn't think it was that big a deal. And he just was like, just kind of on a show and it blew up. Or it could have been a combination of both. But for whatever reason, when he says stuff, I mean, and you know this, it just it just seems to catch fire for some reason.
Hey, man. I guess that just kind of makes him good at what he does, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't talk down on that. That's the name of the game. People want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't think I think you gotta. slow it down when it comes to Nick, man, because it's still too soon. People are still on edge.
Yeah.
So him possibly making a comeback wasn't necessarily too far-fetched, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially after last season, you know.
It would be interesting. Could LSU have gotten rid of their coach to bring Nick Saban back? Would he have done that? He came to Alabama. If he would have went to
Mm,
LSU, there's no telling what they would have done down there. I think they would have had, very, very good success with Coach. That I don't think that happens. I mean, I think when another person takes the job, it's their job. I don't even know if he'd want to come back to Alabama, but I don't think he's coming back because I think he's too old. I just think, like we said before, I mean, this
yeah.
is an easier life. He's making this probably more money than he was making as a coach. And it's a lot
Nah,
easier,
for sure.
I mean, you sit up there and talk, and honestly, he was kind of coming out of his shell last year. Like at first, I thought, God, he's too stiff.
Yeah, he probably done got into all that beer and whiskey he claimed he never drank, though. So happened to always be stocked in his house. And man, man had a garage full of beer he swear he never drank. And then you and then you go upstairs to like his little hosting area. You got just all these high class brands of whiskey, bourbon, scotch. And just like, yeah, sure, guy. Like,
Right.
we
Never had
mean to tell.
fun.
Yeah, as much tobacco as I see you chew, oh man, it's guaranteed to have some type of drink with a cigar at home. He's like, I ain't believing that.
He I still laugh about Mike Johnson not thinking he was going to retire because he said he's the only person he saw drive a boat with slacks on.
Hey,
I just picture stiff Nick
hey,
Saban.
hey, nah, the people need to know Nick is a menace on the water, dog. He is a menace. If he gets you on that tube behind that boat, man, he does like this little evil Nicky smile where it's like alter ego comes out, man. And he driving his boat. Man, you think you having a good time on the tube. Next thing you know, the tube upside down, you like flying across the lake. He's saving to get you on that boat, man. He's just, uh, I remember getting back there. I was just like, "There's no way you're gonna throw me off this inner tube, man." I'm just holding on. Everything's all nice and dandy. He's cruising. He gets like this look back. He's like, "All right." He's like, "You ready?" Man, I was like, "Man, come on with it." And he just takes off. And he hits a turn, then he whips it back to the left real quick, and the damn tube, the tube like swings out, and my big ass just come flying off this inner tube, dog. Man,
Was he in
it's just,
slacks?
man, matter of fact, he had a like, he slacks in like this golf polo, dog. Him, come to think about it. But he wasn't always in slacks though. Like he'd get into his shorts, man.
He
It's,
saw him in shorts sometimes.
yeah, like once he started giving those speeches about control to control, doesn't matter if it's hot outside. Yeah, check him then. Guaranteed he got shorts on. That's his way of telling us, like, yeah, guys, I know it's hot out there. It's hot as hell, but he got to deal with it. He's just like Knicks in shorts. He's finally in shorts and his trainers, man, and we just full pads out there dying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny. Well, let's talk about this. President Trump pushing to remove pay for play, right? And
mm,
I'm excited for that. Greg Byrne came out and said, "Hey, this is great," and he basically said it's the Olympic sports that would be in jeopardy. That's men's and women's. If you look at the numbers for us at the University of Alabama with our 19 sports outside of football and men's basketball, we collectively lost almost $40 million. We
mm.
funded that through our revenue from football, men's basketball. So potentially, which one specifically, if I'm just saying this in general, if I'm a swimming student athlete, if I'm a tennis, or if I'm a tennis, track, any of those sports, those are really important to our universities. We want to compete in them. I can't stress that enough. There would also have to be decisions made because it's just not limited to supply of money like some believe. Or, excuse me, there's not an unlimited supply of money like some believe. Basically, what he said was that Alabama applauded the executive order from Trump to ensure long-term stability in intercollegiate athletics. They want to take away the pay for play in college sports. Basically, what they're saying is if you go out, and I've said this before, you would have been the perfect honey baked ham representative, like the nickname Shank, right? You'd be
Right, right,
Shank, like Kool-Aid was
right,
a rep for Kool-Aid, like um, Ryan Williams is a Nike rep. Like he earned
right,
that, right? They're just giving, they're basically schools just started paying players to show up, which is it's not legal under an amateur model, right?
right.
And what this executive order is supposed to do is make that illegal, where you can't do that. You actually have to go out and earn your NIL. Plus, then they have the $20 million model, and sounds like Alabama and Greg Byrne like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like we've said on here before, like I've said before, just NIL has been the wild, wild west. It's just a lot of money moving around. Nobody, is just responsible for that amount of money. Kids getting to do whatever they want to do, which is fine. Transfer portal is what it is. But at the same time, I think a lot of programs have taken advantage of it as well, because there hasn't been any legislation on it. And so hopefully this gets the NIL back to what we originally imagined it to be, right? Like you said, just you perform at your sport, and then an already established brand outside of the program wants you to represent them with your name and image and likeness. And so if we can get to that, that'll be lovely, man, because that's what we originally wanted it to be. And so my thing is, who would enforce this though? Like, who would this be enforced by? Does like the enforcement go back to the NCAA, or does government get involved in college football overall? And so that's my thing. It's so many moving pieces, and so I like the direction that it's headed, but I think we need a little more to really secure that future stability that we're looking for in college football.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree too. You can't just let the teams that come in and want to pay more money than everyone else ruin the stability of the game.
Right.
And every single sport that's out there has guidelines as far as what you're allowed to do to build your team as compared to the competition. And in the way that I look at it, and I know people have told me, well, in baseball, they're like, you can spend as much money as you want in Major League Baseball. Obviously, there's some penalties now, where you have to pay back into the pool. The NFL has a salary cap. The NFL is the most popular game outside of college football. And the reason why is that you have to value the fact that if the Ravens are playing the Steelers, I may hate the Steelers, but you still have a team to play. So it's like if I'm watching TV, I'm not just watching my Ravens play. I'm watching the Ravens play the Steelers. Both brands are important. And what you don't want is college football becoming so unbalanced that the team that spends the most money is always going to win. And that's what happened last year. Ohio State went out, spent the most money. They bought away players from their biggest competition, including Alabama and Ole Miss. And there were no guidelines on that. They took advantage of it and they won a championship. I'm not discrediting their title, but I said from the beginning, they're the team to watch. And that's why everybody's picking Texas this year. You don't want your sport to be laid out like that. And I hope that they fix this, just because I think we're all afraid that college football is going to be ruined.
No, absolutely, man. Because you can look at the NFL and you can't even win a championship by spending the most money there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you definitely don't want that to end up being what college football is all about. It's just like, man, you're kind of losing the tradition, the stories, just like the lore that's was created around college football through the years. Just because championships, if they start going to the highest bidder, man, who wants to continue to tune in for that, right?
Yeah, right.
Man, I know everybody gives Alabama a tough time because they say we spent so much money in recruiting before it became legal, this, that, and the third. But as no, you can't really prove that, you know? And so We just gotta continue to head toward a better future for college football, man.
Mm-hmm. Look, Coach Saban won because Coach Saban was the best. He was the best at being organized. He was the best at bringing in coaches. He was the best at recruiting talent and getting guys to the NFL and opportunities. Think about all the millionaires that Coach Saban made. Just because people had five-star talent doesn't mean that they were going to just show up and be successful. And that's one of the problems that other schools have with really talented people and
Yeah,
players is that they let them get away with doing less. You
right.
know for a fact that the reason that Coach Saban is successful is because once you start playing football for him, he doesn't give a shit. You better go out there and do it the right way.
That's it, because it was always the next man up mentality, man. If you didn't want to show up and do things the right way, he'd let your ass know. It's just like, if you don't want to do it right, there's two, three guys behind you that are itching to step in your place and do everything they need to do the right way and try to win the right way. And he'll get you going, man. So, yeah, absolutely right.
Show's brought to you by Pearl River. Talked about them earlier. The Timeout Sports Lounge is in Golden Moon Casino, part of Pearl River Resort. It's a Vegas-style sports book, and you don't have to go all the way out to Vegas to find it. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. What do they say? Bama, 8.5, 9.5, over, under, and win total. Go there and you put the money down. You think Bama's going to be able to beat Florida State? You can do it there. 20 big screen TVs, full-size bar. They got the kiosks, the windows, all that stuff where you can go in, plus table games and slots at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino. Tank Jones. This is a guy that I have circled from the very beginning. The 5-star edge from St. Paul's. His dad told On3 or Rivals or whatever they're calling it now because they keep buying everybody out and changing the name. He told them that Anthony Jones is about to make his decision. I think this is a two-team race between Oregon and Alabama. The Texas A&M Aggies are pushing hard, probably pushing hard, meaning wanting to pay a lot of money to get him. But
Right.
I just feel like this is a guy Bama's got to get.
Yeah, man, I think he'd be a huge pickup because honestly, I think Tank's a day one guy. And just like he's a day one starter, he can help us and be impactful right away, man. Man, just being able to put eyes on him in person, man, he fits the mold. He looks the part. He could step on campus right now and absolutely would not look like a freshman linebacker. And just watching him move, man, I think he'll be a versatile pickup for us. He can be an edge guy, that outside linebacker guy. I've seen him move into the middle spot. There's a lot that he can do, man, and he can run. He's strong. And that would be a huge pickup for us, especially in the type of defense that we're running, man. Kane letting guys get after it, sending guys every which way, especially off the edge. And I think he'd be a perfect fit for what we're trying to achieve. And I think he knows that as well. And, like I said, man, neighborhood hero. You'll be loved at Bama forever. You're right up the road. I can attest to that brotherhood, man. Two-time national champ, four-time SEC champ, just the numerous accolades I was a part of with those teams, man, and just the love I continue to receive today. Um, like, damn, man, it's gonna be 10-year anniversary for the 2015 national championship. Like,
Seems like yesterday.
it did. It really did feel like yesterday, man. But like I said, that brotherhood, the fandom down here is so strong, and just the love is appreciated. I don't think you'll get that at a place like Oregon, man, especially not being a kid from Alabama. I get it. People are gonna pay you what they pay you, but I feel like this is a life-altering decision when you decide to go to the University of Alabama, especially being from the state, man. And so I hope we can pick him up because the legacy for him has already started. I've put him up there right with Ryan Williams. Just how big of a pickup he was for Alabama, especially at the time with Kane just coming in and able to keep him. And so this would be another one of those program boosters for us for sure.
What did you feel like when you go from being a high school kid to being a University of Alabama football player? When did that fame hit you? Like, hey, was it when you 2015 when you used up like on the Joe Moore award-winning offensive line? Was it like, once you announced you were going to Alabama? Because there's a shift, man. Like there's that
Right.
where it's like you went from being a Davidson to being, hey, guess what? That Shank's a Bama player now.
Yeah. Oh man, for me, I think it was crazy because I was a early enrollee guy, so I graduated high school early, and so I actually had to go back to walk for my high school graduation, and I had already reported to Bama in like January, and so by the time May graduation got around, I had already been in the weight room lifting and everything, and I just came home looked like a completely different person to a lot of people, and just doing that and everybody just asking me about everything. I'm just like, damn, we the same age. Y'all acting like I'm some superstar or something. And just giving autographs to random kids and stuff, man. Like my first A day, and we had the fan day, and just kids wanted my autograph, and I'm just like, I ain't even been here like a year yet. He's just like, what you want with my autograph? You know what I'm saying? It's just, man, it's just always super dope, man. It just the immediate love as soon as you put that A on your chest, it just you realize pretty quick just you're not a ordinary person, and there's a certain standard to the way you live now, or at least there was for me. Because I know, like when I was being recruited and I came up here, it was like football Disneyland. You know what I'm saying? Like if you could think it, if you could dream it, like they made it happen, like it was there. And the fact they just continue to like redo the mold, just continue to add on to the complex, just it's so crazy because it's completely different now than even when I got there. Because when I got there, they had just completely gutted it, brand new weight room, like new facilities, everything. And then I went back this previous A day and they've done it again. And so I don't know, man, but definitely that when I returned to graduate high school. And I think I skipped my senior prom because we were like doing spring ball or something. And so probably at that point for me, honestly.
It's one of those great moments. I'm sure, and for all of you guys that get an opportunity, and they never forget you at Alabama. Best fans out there, just best school to go to. I hope he picks Alabama just because I think, like you said before on one of our other shows, like it's going to help you for the rest of your life, unless you want to live in Oregon.
Absolutely. Yeah. Unless
You
you
want to
want to
live
live
out
in
there.
Oregon, man. If you want to live out west, then be my guest. You know what I'm saying? But over here, like just even the love and help that it's been extended to my family. You know what I'm saying? Like my family's been straight. I've been able to handle situations I don't think I would have been able to handle if I would have went down to Florida State. And,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? It's just how ain't nobody talking about Jimbo at Florida State right now.
No, no.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like
It doesn't exist
like
anymore.
that. Those things matter, man. Those
Yeah,
things matter.
that's a
And
great
so,
point. Yeah, that's how
you know,
quickly they forget about you. All right,
yeah.
here's a good one. We when we got together to talk about our topics, Cam Newton talks Jalen Hurts. Really, what
Oh
happened was
man.
Cam Newton did his top 10 quarterbacks on his
Hmm.
podcast,
Right.
and he didn't have Jalen Hurts in there, the Super Bowl winning
Right.
quarterback from the Eagles. Now, I will say this. I love Cam Newton's attire, man, his drip. I love it. I would really do that. I told you this off the air. I've said everybody that knows me knows. I said I would dress like Elton John used to back in the day with like a good, like I could. I don't know if anybody would like that. But when I see him, I'm like, he's kind of like that same, you just never know what he's
See,
going to
that's the
show up.
thing, Mick. If you go dressed like Elton John, you can't really care what people think of you,
You
dog.
can't.
It got to be in you, not on you at that point, Mick.
Yeah, right.
It's a confidence thing.
Yeah.
And
I
not that
love
it matters, but Elton John was gay. But
that. Hey, but Cam's not. I mean, look at him,
are we sure?
well, yeah, we don't know. Whatever he does in his spare time. But look, the old Auburn quarterback's great on his podcast.
Right.
I watched what he said, and basically he just doesn't. He thinks that Jalen Hurts is good, but he's got so many great players around him
Mm,
that if you took them
mm,
away, he doesn't think he'd be a top 10 quarterback. And you're talking about Saquon
mm,
Barkley, best running back in the game,
mhm,
Smitty over there,
mhm,
Brown's over there. The tight end game's always good. You got good offensive line. Your thoughts on this?
Okay. Okay. So Jalen Hurts being blamed for having a good team, huh? That's super weird that even in the NFL, that's still the narrative they pushing for him, man. It's just like they tried to do that in college. It's just, oh, it's the team around him. And now we're at the NFL level. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to give him his props. Like I get what Cam is saying from a pure quarterback critiquing standpoint. I get it. He has weapons around him. He feels like he doesn't have to work as much for his production, right? Um, which I still don't think is fair. You know what I'm saying? It's just like all your great teams have multiple star players, right? Just because Cam Newton had dirt to work with in Carolina don't mean everybody has to have dirt to work with. Man, last time I checked, Jalen Hurts won the big one, right?
Yeah.
It's just like he completed the mission. And so I don't really if completing the mission and winning the Super Bowl keeps me out of the top 10 because my receivers and my running back and everybody around me were just that much better than me. I'm fine with that. But that MVP doesn't lie. He may not be a 500-yard passer a game, but he's a playmaker when you need him to be. I don't think he's a game manager. I think he has the ability to put the game on his back when he has to, and he's shown that. Great Super Bowl performance, right? It's not his fault that Saquon Barkley is a generational running back. And what was AJ Brown doing with the Titans before he came to Philadelphia? Losing games, right? And Smitty's had a great career being in Philly with Jalen Hurts. It just sounds like a quarterback that's making his players' life easier. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really get the hate, man. You just if you want to keep him out the top 10, fine, but don't forget to call him champ when you're talking about him. Don't forget to call him Super Bowl MVP when you're talking about him.
Yeah.
Cam pulled Ryan Clark to like college stats and all this stuff. Well, go pull Jalen Hurts stuff as well. He's well accomplished. He has the accolades. He has the numbers. At the end of the day, kid's a winner, man. He's always been a winner. And so I think he's due his due respect. And simple as that.
Well, he's a top 10 quarterback. He's been to the Super Bowl twice, different, and it wasn't a stacked team, but you have to put him in the top 10 because he won the big game. I mean, like all the other stuff is there. He throws the ball, he runs the ball, he's a
Right.
great leader. There's a reason why you're just how many of these guys do you see get to the Super Bowl and lose and then never get back?
Cam
Right?
Newton.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then now, Hurts is getting back there. I remember when people used to say that about Tom Brady, like before he got the respect that he got. It was always like, well, blah, blah, and then eventually it was like, this guy's pretty good. You don't have to throw a bunch of, you don't have to throw for 4,000 yards to be a great quarterback. You have to win. And so at the end of the day, I think he's right up there with the best in the league. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. And then I think everybody else kind of falls in behind him. Josh Allen's really good. But Jalen Hurts is definitely in the top 10. Think about of the teams that are in the top 10 as far as quarterbacks go, how many of them would actually take Hurts over their guy? And the fact that the guy can run the football, but he can also throw the ball and he can, and he can manage a game if he's got to, and makes him really tough to defend. So
Absolutely.
he's definitely at the top 10 quarterback. It's pretty funny that T.O. came after Cam.
We know how passionate T.O. we
fan.
know how passionate T.O. get by his quarterbacks, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's funny though. But you gotta give him his respect, man, because as of recent, who's won a Super Bowl outside of Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, that's right. And been the two of them already.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like let's talk about it, man. And
Yeah.
Patrick, I mean, He has to be up there when you're talking Patrick Mahomes, you're talking Lamar Jackson, you're talking Josh Allen, because these are your MVP favorites, right? And
Yeah,
he managed to make his way past all of them and win the big game. It's just like these are elite caliber quarterbacks that he is beating, good team or not. He is
yep,
making the plays that he needs to make to come out on top at the end of these games, man. If that doesn't make him elite, then what are we talking about?
that's right. You're exactly right. Did you get a chance to meet him when he was at Bama? I asked Coker that, and I mean, just in passing, he basically said because you guys were leaving and he was coming in.
Nah, Coker old ass was leaving. I was still there 2016 when Jalen was a freshman.
Yeah,
I was still there, man. I had him as a young buck, man, and I just remember him there, just pushing for reps like soon as he got there. And just he was an early enrollee, man, and he got in and just the things he could do early on, just with his legs, man. He wasn't pressed under pressure. He was always smooth. He's always confident, man. And just the person he is today, he's always been that person. It's just grown on a major scale, and like he deserves his respect, man.
who started that game? It was at USC. I remember him coming in and just blowing the doors off of the Trojans, but he didn't start the game. Somebody else started it. Then he got in and took over from there. Did you guys realize at the time, like that even though he didn't win the starting job on the first drive of the season, that if something went wrong, that he was going to be the guy? Or at that point, are you just like, hey, you know
Oh
what? We're
yeah.
both looking at both guys, going, I mean, we can win with both of these guys.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, we knew he had a chance to be the guy. You know what I'm saying? It's just he always performed at practice. He was smart. He picked it up quick, man. Man, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, he never wilted under pressure. And just every time we needed a play, he made a play. Whether it been the right throw or taking off when he needed to take off, he just never folded under pressure. And we knew just being at practice with him, man, we knew that he had a chance to be one of those guys right away, even as a freshman. Because mind you, he was just a freshman pushing like in a QB battle for the starting spot.
Right.
And that wasn't by accident at all. And so I think that's why the Tua Jalen saga was even more crazy because I
Yeah.
seen it from the beginning, man, just seeing how high everybody was on Jalen. And then to get a guy like Tua on top of that, it can make for a complicated QB room without a doubt.
Oh yeah. It was Blake Barnett and Cooper Bateman
Oh yeah.
and Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts in that game. And then after that, and maybe they just didn't have a starter at that point, you know. But Hurts left the starter. I don't think anybody even questioned it after that game. And then he went on and the him and that Georgia SEC championship game when Saban started crying, and it was because Saban just appreciated him so much. Like it was like
All right.
him coming off and filling in for Tua, and knowing that he could have left, he stayed, and then being a great teammate behind the scenes. And he's even talked about it. I mean, learning from that, people have doubted him. And honestly, he had some shortcomings when he was at Alabama against really good defenses that he had to try to figure out. And they shut him down in the first Super Bowl. Right now, he's a top 10 quarterback, maybe a top 5 quarterback. And he earned that. I mean, you don't win. You don't just fall into a Super Bowl championship. It just doesn't happen. It's the toughest. I think it's the toughest thing to win in sports.
Absolutely. He's top five, and we have to stop penalizing guys for being at the right place, the right time, right fit for them. We're not penalizing Jaden Daniels for being as good as he was last year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the fit of the team matters for the quarterback. It simply matters, and you can't penalize the quarterback for taking advantage of that fit and utilizing the team's resources and
Right.
being a great QB and leading his team to victory. You cannot penalize him for that.
Last topic on the show. And again, guys, brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. The immortal Hulk Hogan, 71 years old, died yesterday. Shank, you and we both love wrestling. I grew up I remember when he was eat your vitamins, say your prayers. I'm older than you. That was as a kid, like he would hawk up on these guys. I watched the WrestleManias, like where when he took on the Giant. I was a little kid, and we got pizza and rented it on pay-per-view, and 80,000 and the Pontiac Silverdome, and he slams the Giant, and just brought so much fun and entertainment. And then when I was in college at Alabama, and he flipped to the NWO. We would watch all the pay-per-views at my house. I mean, like that was kind of one of my things. And to hear from all my friends yesterday that Hogan had passed away, it was kind of like, man, a chunk of my childhood is gone right now. And that's the sad part about people dying. But I also know he had a complicated life. He definitely made a lot of mistakes. He offended people at the same time. And so, I get that part of it too. But man, it was just like one of those, when I saw that come across my screen, and I've got my NWO shirt on right now. I'll give you one of these.
Nice.
It's just like, man, I just felt like I'm getting old. And I hate that. I just hate it.
Hey man, it's tough. It's a tough situation because me and you caught Hulk Hogan at two different times in his life, dog. You caught him in his prime, and I got old, senile, questionable Hulk Hogan, and so I don't really feel it strongly. Condolences to the family though, for
You
sure.
like the NWO, though.
Oh, I rock with NWO for sure. I rock with NWO for sure. But unfortunately, I don't remember NWO Hulk Hogan. I remember him from like reality TV shows on VH1 and shit. He's just like,
Like secret porn videos released. And
yeah, man, it was a
paid,
super weird time. Super weird time for the
he had to make
Hulkster,
some
man.
bad. He really had to make some just horrible apologies. Like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
And I don't know, people, we forgive people in this country. I mean, we always have. If you apologize and mean it genuinely, most of the time people will give you another chance, but nothing worse than
Yeah,
your best friend, like somehow slipping out of tape allegedly, or somehow it got, you're
man, Hulk
doing
was just a
weird stuff
repeat
in his
offender,
house.
man. He was the repeat offender. You, you only get so many major apologies, dog. He started popping them like candy at one point. It was just always something with him, man. But yeah, I hate that for him. It's just our boy Michael Warren died as well, the actor. And we lost Ozzy Osbourne, man.
And Theo from the Cosby Show. Did you watch the
Yeah,
Cosby Show?
yeah, I remember the Cosby Show.
It's probably like on reruns for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, my sister used to watch it back in the day, so I just used to kind of watch it with her.
Yeah, it was a great show.
It
Theo,
was, it was.
you could tell he was a really good guy. My grandmother used to say that death comes in threes, and
I've
whew,
heard that. I've heard that.
Theo, Ozzy, and Hawk. I mean, that's major 80s stars.
No
Theo was
doubt.
young too, 54.
He
Died,
was, man.
like,
Swimming with his daughter. That's sad.
yeah, man. Yeah,
Sad, man.
that's just unbelievable. But anyway, well,
Yeah.
obviously condolences to all those guys, and
What a way to end the show, mate.
I know. I feel like we got to do something else to make people feel good. All right, let's talk. All right, big sexy Elmo, the late great Big Sexy, and I used to talk wrestling all the time because we do love wrestling, and
No doubt.
and the NWO was by far my favorite faction. I had a Bronco that I worked 3 jobs in college to get at Alabama, and then I got it painted, and my tag was NWO4L. So next time you're in my studio, remind me to show you, because it's
Nice.
up in there. It's one of those. It's an Alabama tag, and people loved it, man. Like I would ride that Bronco around campus, and they would do this to me, and I just enjoyed it, man. Like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and Six Pac, and then Buff Bagwell, and it got pretty off the rails there for a while. But we used to watch those wrestling pay-per-views, and then Stone Cold and The Rock came, and I don't get to watch it that much anymore, but it's fun, and and I still like it. Like I can get into it when things slow down for me. Sometimes, like after football ends and baseball hasn't started, I will get into watching. Who's your favorite all-time wrestler?
Oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
Easy, easy. Like I'm all about it. And you know what I'm saying? Have you ever seen Brock Lesnar's impersonation of Stone Cold?
No.
It's just like he was doing this interview and everybody just started doing it. They said, "What?" And he's like, "Then I drank one beer. What? Two beers. What? Three beers."
Oh, Stone Cold, the rattlesnake, the Texas rattlesnake.
I love him, man. I used to have his action figures as a kid and stuff, dog. Like, definitely core memories for me of Stone Cold. Like when he when he faked the injury to whoop Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? He's just like
I
he
remember.
whooped.
I remember when he was before he was champ and he was coming up, and then I remember my cousin called me and he was like, "You see what Stone Cold just did?" He said he told Jake the Snake Robert that he was like doing like this Bible thing, and he's like, Austin 3:16 says, "I just whooped your ass," you know. He's telling about it, and by the next day, Stone Cold was huge, and my cousin Sam always liked Stone Cold, even I guess back into the Stunning Steve days,
Yeah.
Brian Pillman, and they were like tag champs, but nobody knew who they were. And then that happened, and he was all fired up, and he was exactly right. I was at Birmingham when went with a bunch of my friends for Monday Night Raw, and The Rock had just like done the eyebrow, and became like the Rock that we know today. He was with the Faction, and I loved him. I've always loved The Rock, and I mean I love Stone Cold too. Like I think Hogan, Stone Cold, The Rock, and probably Ric Flair, the best four ever.
Oh, Nature Boy. I love the Nature Boy. Give me two claps and a Ric Flair.
Well, guys, we appreciate you watching the show today. Get in the comment section and have a great weekend. Brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Azaleas, the Oaks, two great golf courses at Dancing Rabbit. It's the Augusta you can play. And then don't forget, D Community. That's our Web3 home. We're building it right now. We've got 2 sets of tickets to the Wisconsin game. Can't wait to give those away to you guys, but make sure that you're a subscriber. You got to like, and then we're gonna do it over at D Community when all that's ready. So we're getting close to Bama football. I know a lot of you guys have never been to a game before, and you want to go. We're gonna give away, like I said, 2 tickets to Bama, Wisconsin, which is going to be one of the best uniform games of the season. And how many times do you have a Big Ten team come to Tuscaloosa? So 2 really great brands. But thanks for hanging with us, Shank. Always awesome. Talking with you, man. You have a great day. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.
To Pearl River Resort.